So this is a story for anyone who has ever traveled a broken road. Anyone who's ever had challenges in their life and felt like those things were going to define them. The tree that you see popping up here, that's my tree. Those are my qualifications before becoming a coach and going on this journey. I am a daughter of 3 brothers, plus me, a daughter of 2 alcoholic parents. And we grew up with a combined salary of about $20,000 a year. We knew food stamps all too well. And because of the alcoholism that was going on, life was very unpredictable. You never knew what you were going to get. As I grew up, I definitely had issues with trying to rescue my parents. I wanted to save them from themselves. And so my entire life revolved around helping take care of my brothers, somehow taking care of them, and then at the end of the day, there was me trying to take care of myself, trying to figure life out, and growing up way too fast. In the 10th grade, things had gotten to their worst, and I had to quit school to be able to take care of my dad and to make sure that my brothers were going to be okay. At 16 years old, I moved out on my own, and I continued to try my hardest to end up as far from where they were as I possibly could. I bought a house at 20, and little by little, life seemed to be getting really good. Unfortunately, a few things started to happen, and I ended up in bankruptcy because of having a premature baby. And I thought, why me? Why does my life continue to spin out of control? Why does everything seem to be against me? I want to tell a story today that I don't tell very often, and it's really important to me. The guy you see up there, that's my hero. I had an older brother, his name's David, and he was always the one consistent thing in my life. I always knew what I could expect from Dave. He was chill. He was a punk rocker, and I would sneak into his room in middle school, steal his Blink-182 shirts, his Ranted things, his chain wallet, and yes, I did rock Jinkos. And when I was 18 years old, my brother was diagnosed with brain cancer. And I will never forget the moment because it was so surreal to think that someone his age could have that happen to him. It was like the wool got pulled out from underneath him. But he was so strong. He was so chill, like Dave always was. And instead of him freaking out, he was taking care of us, making sure that we knew he would be okay. On July 11th, in 2005, I was sitting with my brother, and he was in a bed at my dad's house under hospice care, and we were talking about my 2 youngest brothers and how we were going to make sure that they were okay. He was going to take one under his wing, I was going to take the other under my wing, and we were going to be their heroes. We were going to make sure that they were taken care of. Unfortunately, 2 days later, I got the call at 4 o'clock in the morning that my brother had passed away. And once again, it was like life was happening to me. And I didn't understand how this had happened. How could he go? Why? It didn't make sense. 5 years later, I was at my absolute low. I was 25 years old. I had just had given birth to London, our daughter, premature. I had just filed for bankruptcy. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I'm David's age when he passed away. And there was a day that I actually surpassed what he ever got to live. And I realized in that moment I had a choice. I can continue to let life happen to me, or I can decide to take a different path and take 100% responsibility for my life and choose to use those things to help others. This past week was the anniversary of my brother's passing, 10 years, and it was also the 5-year anniversary of my Beachbody journey. That was my defining moment. That was the moment I drew a line in the sand and I said, no more. I will not let my life, my brother's life, be lost in vain. I will live for every single moment from this day forward for both of us. And so I took life by the horns and started to make some decisions that were different from the ones I had made before. Instead of asking, why me, I started asking, why not me? I realized that everything that I had at that point was because of decisions I had made in the past. And I stopped being so hard on myself and stopped thinking, gosh, I'm such a loser, I can't believe I did this, I can't believe I ended up in the same position my parents were, and started to remember that I have control of what I do today. Everything that I did from that moment forward was redefining my tree. It was going to redefine my life. I started to focus on personal growth. I knew being who I was in that moment was not going to get me to where I needed to be. And so I obsessively found every YouTube video, found every personal development book, every seminar that I could possibly afford to get to, and I started taking it all in. Now, I will tell you, it didn't take me 6 years to read The Slight Edge like it feels like it does for some people. It was something that I took very, very seriously, and I want you guys to understand that. If I was who I was 5 years ago, I would not be up on this stage. I had to change. And that was the only thing I had control over, changing. The unfortunate thing about growth is it takes time. And that can be the most frustrating thing, right? Because you feel like you're putting in so much effort and then nothing's changing on the outside. But what I want to tell you that really changed my life is I stopped focusing on the results and I started focusing on the actions. Rather than saying, well, I'm doing this and I'm not getting this, I started just doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it until, little by little, through all the cracks of that tree, a green leaf appeared, a new blossom, a seed of hope that had started to sprout. And I started to feel like, oh my gosh, maybe, just maybe, this is gonna be worth it. That maybe, just maybe, I might redefine my family tree. But then, you know, detours, closed roads. How many of you guys have had those moments where you finally feel like you've had some momentum and then bam, something takes you out? I know, a lot. I had no upline. I signed up as a coach over a phone and I was a customer lead. And I came to find out that the people above me weren't really working the business. And every bit of me wanted to do what I had always done my entire life, which is put my hands in my head, say why me, and use it as an excuse not to succeed. But then I thought about my brother, and I thought about the pact that we had made, and I said, not this time. I'm gonna reroute. It might take me a little bit longer, but I will get to that destination. Because my why, the destination, the final destination, it was worth it. See, I had that little girl. She was my very first responsibility. All those times that I had tried to rescue my parents, that wasn't my responsibility. That little girl, she was my responsibility. And I refused to give up on getting to where I wanted to be for her. I knew that one day she was gonna have a dream. And she was going to come up to me so excited to tell me what that dream was, and I was not going to look her in the eye and tell her, I'm sorry baby, we can't afford that. Or that she was going to have a great accomplishment that she had achieved, and I'm going to have to say, I'm sorry, mommy has to work, I can't go. Nuh-uh. Not this time. I am not going to have life happen to me, I'm going to have it happen for me, and I'm going to do something great with my life. Not just for myself, but for my family's future. Now, yes. Now, I was not qualified, you know? Who is gonna follow a dropout? Who's gonna follow some girl at 25 that filed bankruptcy? Who's gonna follow a girl that has no clue what she's doing in the business? I'll tell you what I did. I wasn't that girl anymore. I stripped that off. I let it go. And I decided I had changed. I had value to offer. And those experiences, gosh, they've only made me stronger. So I started to leak out that story and talk about who I was becoming. Before I even got there, I didn't tell lies. I didn't say I was $1 million earner when I wasn't. But the moment that I became a coach, I wrote this note, and it's still on my Facebook, so you can check it. And it said, "The train has left the station. I found my platform, and I'm going to rise to the top. Who's coming with me? And if you don't come with me, you're going to regret it." Bet they do. I had to act as that top coach, and when I got flustered or when I hit a roadblock, I thought of people like Christine Dwyer, who were running this amazingly ginormous team, and thought, what would she do? What would she do in this moment? How would she react to that objection? And I acted like that. And by golly, it worked. So you guys, don't focus on who you've been, focus on who you're becoming. Talk from that person. That person has always been in you. You just had to let it out. Discipline. So I tell you guys, I had quit literally every single thing I had ever started in my life. I had been in so many different lessons that I almost know how to do a lot of things. I'm really only good at Beachbody coaching because it's the only thing I've ever stuck with. But the discipline, you know when you first sign up as a coach, you're so excited about it. Same thing with starting a workout program, you're so passionate about it until you actually have to do the work. And then little by little, it kind of, you don't really feel like it that much. Some of you guys woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go to a workout. You can do that, you can do this business, okay? Because I can't do that. But the discipline of doing it even when I didn't feel like it is what has allowed me to get to this point. There's a lot of times that I stayed up way later than I wanted to, or sent out messages that I just wasn't feeling like sending in that moment. But I did it because I remembered that end destination, and I wanted to get there. It was important to me. So understanding that you're not always going to feel like it. There's going to be times and peaks and valleys in your business that are frustrating. I get it. We have all been there. We're all still there. Just so you know, just because you become successful doesn't mean like this is like, oh, it's easy and I always feel like doing it. But I still do it. So the discipline part of it is huge. And then another thing that's just ridiculously huge is getting out of the instant gratification mindset. I know it's so easy for the quick fix. We're always looking for that pill. We're always looking, like Melanie was saying, the secret sauce. What is the secret? It has taken me 5 years to get up here. 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and crying my eyes out, and pulling my hair out. I know we've all probably got gray hairs under all this blonde bleach. You'll never know. But it's taken a lot of time, and it's frustrating, but it's so worth it. And the most beautiful thing about the whole entire experience is the fact that the decisions, the choices that you make to change your life, sure, they change your life, and they change your family's life, and that is amazing. But nothing feels as good as watching your life help inspire other people to change. Nothing feels as good as seeing one of your coaches up here following your lead. But a lot of people get held up because you're trying to change other people. Like I said, I spent 25 years of my life trying to change other people, not focusing on myself. You have to turn that inward. You are the only thing that you can change. But by doing that, you inspire others around you that are ready and willing to change. And before you know it, with time, consistency, and a whole lot of hard work, you build a forest, and your life is forever changed. This is my new family tree. I've got a 6-year-old little girl who's like the light of my life, biggest extrovert you've ever met, and she would die to be up on the stage, and I bet you she will be one day. She's completely healthy. I've got to be present for every single moment of her life. I will never have to tell her we can't afford that or mommy can't be there. And we built a house that we have paid in full thanks to this company. Those little brothers, and that conversation I had with my older brother, like 2 days before he passed away, about taking care of him. We've been able to build 6-figure income, retire from the military, make sure that their life is set up for success. And that is worth it. That's why I do what I do. I just want you guys to understand, and I hope that you see a piece of yourself in this story and understand that every single setback that you've had in your life is a setup for a comeback. It is your story that is going to change and inspire other people's lives. And by you embracing the fact that the one thing you have control over is you. And I hope that you just rise to the top, you leave this room, and every single day you start to build branch by branch, leaf by leaf, until your tree is as beautiful as I see all of you guys being right now. Thank you so much.